about this. So I'm Native. Let's talk. There are Natives, Hispanic and Latino people, Asian people, Middle Eastern people who say this word. And I know the common defense is, oh, it's the neighborhood I grew up in. I grew up around black people, or my kids are black, or my girlfriend's black, or my boyfriend's black, and yada, yada, yada. But the original poster here has a very good point. Why aren't we calling each other our slurs? And if you're a person of color, I want you to really think about this. Think about if you're Asian and you saw a group of Spanish people walking around calling each other your slur. If you're Native and you heard Asian people walking around saying your slur. Like, no one else has this except for black people and their slur. And that's fucking bullshit. And let me tell you why. That word has so much pain attached to it. And because black people reclaimed it and then flipped it, made it part of pop culture, as only black people do, paved the way for pop culture. Put it in music and shit like that. Have it as their vernacular and shit like that. Because it became common, you think you can say it? Because you're not white, you think you can say it? Because let me tell you something. White people aren't going to respect voices of color until we all push forward with one unified movement, one unified mindset. And part of that unification is you guys can't just say anything that you want to. And we're not going to front with each other. In many families of color, there is racism still. And who always gets the brunt of it? The darkest skinned of us, the Afrocentric. And that's bullshit. No, I don't care what hood you grew up in. If you're Latino or Hispanic, just because you grew up around black people doesn't mean you get to say the N-word. Why? Because you know damn well your abuela is at the table making racial remarks, telling you to get with a white person and have a lighter skinned baby. And that goes for natives too. There's a huge Eurocentric versus Afrocentric versus mid-tone argument with the natives. But it's almost always agreed that it's against the Afrocentric. And with the Asian community, there's this constant, like, creepy fetishization. I'm thinking right now of K-pop and shit like that. Fetishization of black characteristics and black sounds and black image, but then also not liking black people. And I say all this having Latino and Asian and Middle Eastern friends, being Native and knowing the shit that gets talked about at the coffee table.